very good afternoon and thank you so much for joining us on this edition of KTN Live at 1. I am Joy Doreen Bira. Today is June 9, 2012. Let's start with the top story this afternoon. A man in Kitengela narrowly escaped death after police rescued him from an angry mob baying for his blood. This after he was allegedly caught trying to break into someone's house. Area residents claim cases of insecurity are on the rise.
An irate mob in Kitengela was ready to take the law into their own hands after this man was allegedly caught breaking an entry into someone's house. Had these police officers not arrived when they did, perhaps it would have been the end of the road for the alleged thief. KTN spoke to several area residents who say that insecurity in Kitengela is now an issue of great concern, with cases of theft happening almost every night.
Ni walinikuta kwa nyumba, wakakata dirisha hii meshwa ya wakakata na wakaigia, waliniimbia, walishukua mekobili na vitu zingine za nyumba, lakini hakuna mmoja tulipata.
Wakaingiza mkono ndani, kufungua chini. So kufungua chini wakapata access.
We have faced a lot of insecurity in the area, theft and breaking into houses. And when we report, it seems like very little action is being taken.
Kitengela residents say they are having sleepless nights, worried for their businesses and own security as cases of theft continue. They are calling upon the authorities to take action to ensure security is restored in the area. Sophia Wanuna, KTN Live at 1.
Thanks, Sophia. The tribunal to investigate the conduct of Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, Lady Justice Nancy Baraza, will start hearing a case of misconduct against her from the first week of July, that is next month. According to the tribunal's chairman, Tanzania's retired Chief Justice Agostino Ramadhani, it is upon Lady Justice Nancy Baraza to decide whether the hearings will be conducted in public or not. The tribunal met on Thursday this week and agreed to serve Justice Nancy Baraza with a notice of hearing next week. Baraza is accused of allegedly assaulting a security guard, Rebecca Kerubo, at the Village Market Mall on the eve of the year 2012. Kerubo claims Baraza brandished a pistol in her face and also pinched her nose as she demanded to search her bag during a routine security check. Chief Justice Dr. William Mutunga directed that a tribunal be established to probe Lady Justice Baraza after a subcommittee he appointed concluded that Baraza had breached the Code of Ethics for Judicial Service. President Mwai Kibaki suspended Lady Justice Baraza from office and appointed a tribunal to investigate her conduct in late January. However, Lady Justice Baraza lodged a case in court challenging the legality of the tribunal. The High Court delivered its ruling in March by endorsing a probe. Now moving on to national news, Deputy Prime Minister Uhuru Kenyatta has once again denied any links to the 2007-2008 post-election violence. Uhuru says he has falsely been indicted for crimes he did not take part in. The Deputy Prime Minister seeks to clear himself ahead of a status conference scheduled for next week, Monday and Tuesday, to lay rules of engagement during trials. Now Uhuru has also urged for peace during the forthcoming general election.
The Deputy Premier says he was wrongly implicated in the post-election violence of 2007-2008. Uhuru says the violence erupted as a result of a disputed presidential results, of which he was not a contender. The Deputy Premier says when he considered defeat in 2002, there were no chaos.
Siasa yangu ni ya amani. Siasa yangu ni ya umoja. Siasa yangu sio ya kujitafutia. Kama ingekuwa ya kujitafutia, hata 2007 ingesimama tena. Nikasema hapana, safari hii nitagojea, nitatafuta tena.
Uhuru's sentiments comes ahead of the International Criminal Court status conference scheduled for next week, Monday and Tuesday. The conference is to lay engagement rules between the accused Ocampo 4 and the court ahead of the trials. Eldoret North MP William Ruto and radio journalist Joshua Sang appear in court on Monday, while case 2 against Deputy Premier Uhuru Kenyatta and Ambassador Francis Mudaura will be held on Tuesday. Sang and his lawyers have already left the country for The Hague to attend the conference. It is not mandatory for the accused to appear in person for the status conference, as they can be represented by their legal team. Uhuru, Ruto and Mudaura are yet to indicate if they will be attending the status conference or send their legal teams. Uhuru has urged Kenyans to keep peace, especially at this time when the country is heading for the general election, saying a country cannot develop without peace. Uhuru says his TNA party is meant to unite all Kenyans and bring development in the country. Samogina, KTN Live at 1.
Lugari Member of Parliament Cyrus Jirongo has made a turnabout, saying he is in the United Republican Party to stay and he will not quit. Jirongo says he is in the presidential race within the party and will square it out with Eldoret North Member of Parliament William Ruto during nominations for the presidential ticket, and vowed to support whoever wins at the party's nominations. Deep-seated suspicion between Jirongo and Ruto has caused a rift in the party, with Jirongo claiming URP lacked internal democracy. The Lugari Member of Parliament was speaking in Eldama Ravine during a fundraising event in aid of AIC Church. Keep Korioni.
Mimi nimesimama imara. Mimi nataka kuambia nyinyi, hakuna pesa kiasi yoyote ambayo itatumiwa kwangu ili nilegeze kamba au niwe kwa mpango mwingine ya chini chini ya kugawagawa sisi ili mtu mwingine awe mbele. Hiyo mpango sitaingia. URP tunataka iwe chama ya kitaifa, iwe chama ya Wapwani, iwe chama ya Wameru, iwe chama ya Wakisii, iwe chama ya Kolengini yote, iwe chama ya Waluya wote. Na hiyo kazi mimi na Mheshimiwa Ruto tumefanya siasa, tunaelewa. Tukiketi chini tupige hesabu tutaingiza.
Now, Gashoka Member of Parliament and presidential hopeful Mutava Musyimi says members of Parliament should be allowed to choose whatever parties they wish to be associated with, as opposed to restricting them from doing so, as this curtails political freedom. And he said Political Parties Act restricts members of Parliament from jumping parties without resigning from their previous ones, especially now that political parties have filed the NIMASE of their members, the names of the members with the registrar. And of course, according to Musyimi, he says members of Parliament should be able to choose freely.
And it's a question of finding a creative tension between those two, between the discipline and also the freedom. And in a time of reform, in a time of transition, please create the environment that makes it possible for grown-ups to find their space and their political definition, and therefore to move forward. To me, which is the worst risk of tightening and holding on to these people and saying Ruto, ka ODM, na mwingine nataka shingo upande, mwingine ka hapa, hata wengine wamepelekwa kotini tayari. As you know, is that not true? So you are being told by the law to stay in. The same law is being used by others to kick you out. You know, let us get real and let us be realistic. These provisions, the changes I want is only for the next elections. After that, we revert back to what the law says, because you can't mature forever. At some point, you've got to grow up, and then let the law crack the whip. I'm saying we are not there yet. You know.
Residents of Kirima Kiathi village in Meru County have accused the Kenya Power of negligence after failing to replace an electric post that fell a month ago, leaving power cables dangling dangerously, posing the risk of electrocution to area residents. Now, the hanging cables have not only endangered the residents but also paralyzed transportation of tea leaves, since the power lines cut off access to the other tea collection area. Residents are now calling for the company to move with speed and rectify the situation to avert loss of lives. Farmers in Kigumo are counting their losses after baboons found their way into their farms and destroyed their crops. The farmers say in recent weeks baboons have been invading their farms and destroying their immature crops. They are also facing the loss of their annual bumper harvest of food crops that include maize and beans, which they had hoped to harvest later in the year. The farmers complain that they are now at their wits' end, having employed every trick to keep the baboons out of their farms. To no avail, they now want the Kenya Wildlife Service to intervene and remove the animals from the area, failure to which they have threatened to take matters into their own hands.
Tutakuwa na njaa kwa sababu mahindi ile imekomaa ni wakati wake ingekuwa imekomaa, lakini bado na haitakomaa. Sasa imewachwa miti tupu bila kitu, ni majani tu. Kama hii haijakomaa na imeharibu, na sio hii peke yake, iko mingi. Yeah. Kwa hivyo watu wameona, sasa serikali ijue maneno hii.
Mahindi yetu haijakomaa. Sasa hatujui watoto wetu watakula nini, hata sisi, hata neighbor. Hii ndio hasara. Kila mtu analia, mahindi yake imekulwa.
Moving on to international news, 7 UN peacekeepers from Niger have been killed in an ambush in southwestern Ivory Coast, the United Nations has revealed. The UN officials say the attack took place near the border with Liberia, where the peacekeepers were patrolling in an area between the villages of Tai and Pada after hearing rumors of an imminent attack on communities in the region. The area has seen a number of cross-border attacks over recent months, blamed on the Liberian mercenaries and Ivorian militia fighters who fled Ivory Coast following the arrest of the former president Laurent Gbagbo last year. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said he was saddened and outraged by the deaths. The UN peacekeepers were deployed to Ivory Coast in 2004 to help end the country's civil war and had stayed through the country's recent political crisis. A UN spokesman told AFP that this is the first attack of its kind in the country. Chad has been hit by a severe nutrition crisis as Sahel drought persists. According to the United Nations Children's Fund, the nutritional crisis in Chad is being compounded by one of the world's lowest rates of breastfeeding, and the UNICEF says that only 3 mothers out of every 100 entirely breastfeed their children. Sahel region has been hit by drought and more than 1 million children are facing starvation. UNICEF supports most of these people, especially organizing village meetings with facilitators who encourage mothers to breastfeed their babies. As part of a long-term solution to this nutritional crisis, UNICEF is working with partners to help Chadian farmers grow a wider range of food which may save the children. And the children's organization also warned of a serious malnutrition crisis in the region. A large number of disused bomb shelters which ran deep under China's financial hub of Shanghai are now being creatively transformed into anything from nightclubs to wine cellars. And here is how the Chinese are making profits out of bomb shelters.
This may look like any other building along a stretch of Shanghai street popular with bar-goers, but the simple entrance disguises one of the city's newest trends, transforming disused bomb shelters into imaginative new spaces. Once through the door, revelers are led through a web of tunnels down to the dance floor of an underground music haven popular with Chinese and foreigners alike, known as the Shelter. The club, 6 meters below ground with original cement walls and a distinct smell of mold, is one of a handful of former bomb shelters turned commercial venues across China's booming commercial and fashion capital. The popular club has attracted top US celebrities, among them hip-hop artist Jay-Z. Hundreds of thousands of these shelters were built across China in the 1960s and 1970s to prepare for possible air raids from the Soviet Union amidst the soaring relations between the two communist giants. The shelters were let out by the government after tensions with the Soviet Union eased in the mid-1970s. It is unclear how many shelters were built in Shanghai, but in Suhu district alone there are about 2,000. Local wine distributor Ruby Red has also turned one of the remaining shelters into a wine cellar. Company staff said the cool, moist environment make the shelter a perfect storage space, giving another all-important commercial incentive to preserve a dark corner of the city's rich history.
You're watching KTN Live at 1. We'll take a short break, but still to come is the news shot. Don't go away.
New Sunlight 2-in-1 Tropical Sensations. Let the fragrance move you. New Sunlight 2-in-1 Tropical Sensations. Smell the clean.
Come, my little player. Your shirt is dirty. You need to take a bath. Now. Adding trusted Dettol to your bathing water every day ensures a healthy bath even with not so clean water. Good health starts with a germ-free bath, and that's what my Dettol does for me. You smell healthy, like a champion. What does your Dettol do for you?
Dettol, endorsed by the Kenya Medical Association. Be 100% sure.
In the presence of the finest, military man. This for the streets, let's give them something naked. In the trunk, at this point you should be turning your speakers up. A millionaire man. It's a southern thing. I heard somebody say that the South ain't got no lyricists. Bang bang at the game like everyone down here is pissed. You looking for the truth and look no further, here it is. Turn it up a notch so they cannot say they're not hearing this. They say Camilla said, click click, here's a clip. Bang bang at the rap game to make your spirits live. And it seems to me the industry is all on jiggers. Oh, you and you.
Damn, I love it. We had fun, and good thing about it, everybody enjoyed itself, and we're looking to come back next year.
Okay.